Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kieran and I help people using a spiritual perspective. Today I have a cold. I've had a cold for the last few days, so if it sounds like my voice is extra nasally more than usual, it's because of that. So there's also some thunder outside. It's raining. Weird day outside. So today is a video. Here I am, hello, and it's going to be talking about labels. This is sort of why I don't use labels, why I don't use spiritual labels, or why I try to stay away from them, because sometimes you can't really help but use labels to talk about or to try and help others understand something, a concept, an idea. And a label is a way of just kind of being on the same page without needing to break it down even further. So you kind of spend less time on a topic when you can just label it, right? When you label like a penguin or a sea lion or a leopard, the label serves as a recognition, right? So you don't have to say, well, a jaguar or whatever is a big cat, it's black, and it's got, this, it can bite like this, and it has this much pressure when it bites, and its face is like this compared to a cheetah. So it saves time, and it allows people to automatically recognize something. So labels in themselves aren't like a bad idea. They're obviously very good for the human society. We can categorize things. We can look at them, and we can parcel them into things. And we love doing that. We love parceling things and organizing them and putting them in order and trying to make sense of a vast cosmos and universe, which really is quite chaotic, at least seemingly. So we love labeling. And so we do this with spirituality as well, just like we do it with any topic or any genre, any field. We do it with spirituality. So we will have labels, and they will have the same type of use. So we take a twin flame label, and the idea is that we do not have to talk about all the in-depth details of a twin flame. We can just say the label. We could just say a twin flame. And we automatically have some kind of understanding of what the other person is talking about, or what they're trying to convey, what the topic is, right? However, when you get into terms like that, and when you start going into spirituality, which is a very esoteric, I don't want to say illogical, but it's a field or a genre, that topic that isn't really verifiable, and everybody has so many different opinions. So it's not the same as like a penguin, or something that can be found in the natural order of the world. It's something that you cannot really use a scientific method to determine or to prove or to gain insight into. It really comes down to an intuitive, feeling-based thing, and much of spirituality is intuitive or feeling-based. So using a label for things that are intuitive and feeling-based becomes very dangerous very quickly. And this is what happens, is that people will they'll latch onto this idea of twin flames, or a violet ray, or a soulmate, or a star seed, and they will use that to justify an experience or to escape a present reality. So when the terms, this twin flame word, it's very chocolatey, right? It's yummy. You want to eat it. You want to put it inside of your mouth and just savor it, because it's so goddamn tasty. Because what it does is it gives you this idea that there is a true partner, that there is a magical person that can fix you, or that is your other half. And Hollywood never helped with this. We can even trace this idea back to Plato and the sort of story of a god split man and woman, or split humans into female, male, and then they would have to essentially spend their whole life searching for their other half. And I believe this was as punishment. I don't know what the punishment was. Every good god story has got a punishment, the Bible, Adam and Eve. I don't know what the Greek mythology, where that comes from, what the original human did. Probably masturbated in a wheat field. I don't know. But whatever it was not good, so they were split. So you have this idea already kind of lingering throughout history. And then you have a spiritual community, the New Age community, latching on to this idea and then adding new things to it. And so what happens is this label begins to be used almost in the same way that the label narcissist is used, and the word toxic is used. And so now suddenly a lot of people are justifying relationships that aren't necessarily healthy. that aren't necessarily a representation of what a twin flame might actually be, or what it's supposed to be, or what true love is supposed to be, or whatever that concept means to you. So the label becomes a very dangerous sort of self-inflicted wound that we're not really conscious of, because we find the label and it becomes automatically helpful to find something that we go, oh shit, that's exactly kind of what I'm going through. But what you're going through more often than not is a kind of a dangerous relationship with somebody that probably isn't your twin, but is actually somebody who is there to prepare you for another relationship, a better one. And so it is arrogant of us, and I did this, to assume that the first sort of twin flame, when we get that concept, that person that we meet is automatic, that's the one. There you go. It's arrogant to assume that, just as it's arrogant to assume that the first woman or man or starfish that you ever fall in love with is automatically the one for you, that you're going to last forever, that they're your soulmate, or they're just the one, right? It's arrogant to assume that. Sometimes you have those kind of things, but the idea is that trying to justify something with a label, especially in terms of spirituality and these kind of esoteric topics, it's dangerous, and it can really start to inflict wounds upon yourself, because you will find yourself in relationships or in a specific connection that does not reflect healthy love back to you. And then you will have maybe well-meaning coaches that essentially try to put the blame on you, or put the blame on the partner that's in the separation, and essentially say, well, all of these things are completely normal, don't worry about it. You're actually going through a very dangerous, you're actually going through a very normal part of your twin flame relationship. And so the dangerous things that you're worried about, don't worry about those, basically. You just need to focus on yourself, have self-love, and those are great topics. It's always good to focus on yourself and have those, but they're urging people with a little bit of money to continue these connections, to involve themselves further, to basically keep feeding the connection, to say, well, yeah, they're not a good person, they don't text you back, they don't communicate, it's been years, they're not interested in you. Okay, so that they're cheating on you, or they're doing drugs, or they're doing this, doing that, and we want to use that as a justification for a twin flame, despite all of the evidence that's contrary to that. And that is why I do not use spiritual labels, because it is very easy, despite how smart or intelligent you think you are, and trust me, I would think the same for myself, despite all that, you can still make mistakes with these types of labels. You can still make very easy mistakes. And I made that mistake. Now, I don't like using the label, because it is something that almost goes against what I'm trying to do with this YouTube channel. The idea is that I'm trying to make spirituality accessible and available to a large group of people. So I want to give spirituality, or a sense of spirituality, to people who might hate New Age spirituality, like I'm not a fan of it myself, or to people who are atheists, or who have no faith, or who are trapped in a cult or a religious cycle. I want to offer spirituality in a way that's able to help those people, and just share information in a hopefully grounded way. And these labels don't really allow to do that, right? And so me finding myself in my own, let's say, twin flame relationship is not something that I necessarily want to talk about like that, because of how the label confuses things. It puts people off, it puts me off, it doesn't really get to the heart of what I'm trying to talk about anyway. It's just a label. It's nice to hear, like, oh, a YouTuber, they're with their twin flame, and you'll see some YouTubers talk about that and suspiciously, not really focus on their twin flame, or not even show them, which is their own privacy issue. That's fine, nothing wrong with that, right? But the idea is you can't use your own twin flame relationship as a way to manipulate people, for instance. Like, should I make videos that just tells you, the audience, about how about how great my twin flame relationship is, and just talk about how you could be in it too. And oh, but by the way, like, why don't you sign up for my $500 coaching? You know, that's not the type of coaching I offer, and that's not why I offer coaching, and that's not the price of my coaching, and you know, that's not something I'm going to do, because that's not my point. That's not what I'm trying to accomplish. I don't want to use my own what's maybe success or my own twin flame relationship of that kind of nature to manipulate others into buying products or to just watching me. I don't want people to use the label so they can avoid making the same mistakes. And that's why this video is going to be triggering, because I'm going to be getting into this triggering part right now. I have been a twin flame coach. I have been a regular coach. I've been an empowerment coach. I don't really even like the term coach. I just help people remember what they already know. And sometimes you need somebody to nudge you. A mentor. I'm a mentor, you know, and I have a mentor, and my mentor has a mentor, you know, and everybody has a mentor, and there's everybody could use help, and they get help from different people at different levels at different stages, right? So I'm no better than anybody. So calling myself a coach implies that I know so much more than an individual who's learning from me, but that's not the case. It's just like with a teacher in college, or, you know, you might learn specific information from them, but you don't know what they're like behind closed doors. They could be a racist, you know what I mean? So they might have a wide berth of mathematics, and you just, you know, you learn so much from them, or you learn about history or philosophy, but they have a worldview that completely does not agree with you. So I never want to put myself in that position to think that I'm better than you or anyone. So the triggering part of this is that I still want to talk about how dangerous these labels can be. And the twin flame label in particular is the most dangerous. It's the most dangerous thing. A starseed label, okay, what's the worst that's going to happen? You might focus on starseeds a little bit too much and lose a little bit of kind of your groundedness, but overall it's not going to really keep you from moving forward in your life. And in some ways, you know, it helps you a little bit at the start. But star seeds and all these other kind of concepts, these other labels, if they can't help your life, if they can't help humanity grow and ascend, if it doesn't really matter to your emotional state when you lay your head down on the pillow at night, then it's irrelevant. It's ultimately irrelevant. So it might help you a little bit, but it's kind of irrelevant. There's not really a lot you can do with it. And yet the twin flame label should kind of be under that same scope, yet because it has to do with romance, because it has to do with love, because the significance of it is essentially saying, this is the one, this is it, this is your relationship, and if you resist it, you're wrong, or you're to blame, or they're to blame, or there's this push, pull, separation. It's a year-long thing. There's pain. And then everybody has different ideas about it. Two souls, one souls, many twin flames. You know, twin flames don't exist. There's so many different opinions and so many different stipulations that you basically have this category of people that don't believe in twin flames at all, and then people who believe in twin flames, but then of that believe that one side, twin flames they do exist, but they're toxic and only ever meant to help you grow, you know, to move forward, to ascend in some direction, and then they just leave your life. Or you have people that say, well, no, actually there is the true representation of twin flame love. There is the healthy love, but often there is a sort of, let's say, false twin or somebody at the beginning that usually catalyzes you or helps you in some way. And that's true even without the label. You'll often meet those people anyway. So if you get rid of the labels, you'll find a twin flame-esque kind of person, or you find a soulmate-esque kind of person, and then you'll find those false twin-esque kind of person, or those karmics, or those people who just ultimately teach you way too many lessons and don't represent the true love that you're looking for, seeking, or deep down know that exists. Okay, even if you have some sort of self-worth issues about love and receiving love. Okay, so the nature of the label itself, twin flame, is a dangerous one because it's so easy to attach to. There's a huge importance of it, and because it cannot necessarily be verified, and there's so many different opinions and stipulations about it, that essentially what happens is there's chaos around it, and we do use it as a marker for our life. Whereas starseed or other kinds of labels, you know, we might be able to go, oh, okay, well, that's cool, that's interesting, I like that, but I'm going to go to work now. Okay, but with twin flames, people's lives stop. People like emotionally die. Do you know what I mean? Like they spiritually stagnate and they get stuck and they get lost. So I've made, very big 180 sort of directional spins on this since I first discovered this concept. So the triggering part is that the statistics. I've been doing coaching for a long time, well, not a long time. Was it 3 years maybe? Maybe longer. I don't know. I've probably had about 10 clients, and what I want to share with you is the statistics about that. I want to share with you the statistics about the number of people that I've met. I've done tarot readings. I've done tarot readings for hundreds of people. Okay, so and most of those were twin flame readings. And I've done about 10 coaching clients, and maybe 5 or 6 of them were believed to think that they were in a twin flame relationship. Okay, so if you add like 100 or so tarot, okay, and then you add 10 or let's say 6 or 7 clients, 5 or 6 clients that specifically deal with twin flame for the coaching, and then you just add the people that I've met personally that believe they're in a twin flame relationship. So let's say that's about 20 people, maybe a little less, but it's around there. And then you have secondhand people that I've talked to, or that you sort of see that I haven't met but have talked to online. And so you can probably add another, probably a lot given this channel, okay? So I don't even know the number for that, but it's well into the hundreds and hundreds, maybe 1,000 at this point, right? Just given the amount of people that have come through as traffic for this channel or on websites or things that I've written, because lots and lots of people. And then there's the second or third, even, second-hand, third sort of sources that you see, which is not people that I've talked to, but just stories that you hear, right? So you can add another 50, 60, maybe 100 people, okay? So you have a lot of numbers to pull from. And I'm no math guy. I failed math like 3 times in college. So, I'm not going to give you like specific numbers if you're into that, but I will give you a roundabout estimate. And the roundabout estimate is, of all of the people that have claimed to be in a twin flame relationship or that adamantly believe that they are, I have come across about 2 or 3 that ever end up in the actual relationship. And that's just the fact of what I've experienced. It's not a fact as in it's going to be that for you, but it's a sobering realization that not that many people end up in that relationship. I mean, think about all the twin flame coaches and tarot readers that are online. Their primary reason for doing them, that I've noticed, because this was my primary reason for starting doing tarot, was to make sense of the twin flame relationship, help others, and also kind of figure out what was going on with the partner, the divine masculine, so that you yourself could feel a little bit more safe in your connection. But you'll notice most of them are not with their twin flame. And I could tell you could sit down right here and say, and this is true, like, hey, I'm with my twin flame. Okay? I am. But does that matter to you? And should it matter to you? Absolutely not. It absolutely should not, because no relationship is guaranteed. It does not matter if I am in a relationship with someone that is a twin flame or a soulmate or a kindred spirit, or if I'm alone or have no one. It does not matter. It matters more how I feel about myself. And if you feel that there can only ever be one person for you, then the pressure and the stress of that is going to get to you. And it's really going to cause you a lot of pain. And then with this twin flame idea, well, what happens? So many people do not end up with their twin flame. I mean, of all the people that I've coached, one of them ended up with their twin flame. And that was a long period. This is years after the fact that I coached them, okay? And it was even more to do with, accepting the reality of the situation. And I've had other people that I've helped realize that's possibly not their twin flame. And then of all the people that I've talked to and come across and done tarot readings for, like of the hundreds of tarot readings, like seriously, like maybe like a handful, 3, 4, 5, low numbers of people that end up after years, 3, 4, 5 years with their person, okay? And I know friends that will not move on with their life because they're still in love with somebody that they believe is their twin, even though it has been 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and nothing. So that's, I don't know how triggering that is. I'm not talking about this so that you give up necessarily, or that you get mad at me, or that you get mad at yourself. That's not the point, right? The point is that you should be able to discard the label. Discard the label, and you have a better chance of ending up with your twin flame. It's paradoxical, but most truth is paradoxical, if not all truth, right? If you want to end up with the person that you're in love with, discard the importance of what they mean. They're already going to be important to you on a soul level. You don't have to think about how important they are. You don't need to focus on a label. You're always going to love the person you love. You're always going to you're always going to do the things you're going to do. Things change, things don't change. There are so many different variables in life that to put all of your marbles, or you put all your chickens or your eggs in one basket, whatever the stupid expression is, it's not going to do you any good. You're going to get disappointed. So if you discard the importance of the label itself and all of the opinions and the meanings and all the things attached to it, you will find yourself in an ocean of truth, in your own truth. And that will be a freeing, large experience, because it will be an expanse. It's the difference between trying to make things, work in a tide pool, trying to do a lot of things in a tide pool. Even if you feel like you're grinding it out in that tide pool, you don't have a lot of room to work with. But if you're in a vast ocean where it's big and wide and expansive, it's scary in that sense because of how unknown it is, but then you have the freedom. You have the freedom. And that is more important than the constriction of the label, because the label does not offer you freedom, it offers you constriction. It chains you. And what happens is that so many people, well-to-do meaning or not, coaches or self-proclaimed gurus, will use those chains, consciously or not, and they will trap you even more. And you will end up losing a lot of money. There's a reason why the coaching that I do does not cost that much money. It's because I do not want spirituality to be my only source of income. That's not what I'm into. I like to focus on my creativity as my source of income. That's where I want the majority of my money to come from in my life. Just because that's what I'm passionate about. Spirituality should not be a thing that we take advantage of others for. And unfortunately, for many different reasons, the twin flame topic is something that people take advantage of you for, and that you fall for, that I fell for, that I was basically in love with somebody that was really harmful to me, and that I believed no matter what that they were my twin flame. No, that was not the case, but I believed it for 2 or 3 years. And some people believe that for 5 or 6 years or 10 years. And it's all because of the label. So you may sit there and say the label is very helpful. I agree that to some extent, as I talked about at the beginning of the video, labels can be helpful. But I will always argue with my new perspective that the label ultimately does more harm than good. And I'm not here to bash anybody's beliefs. I'm not here to shit talk you. I'm not here to say you're definitely not in a twin flame relationship. Sorry, random stranger. I'm not here to say you're never going to end up with your twin flame person who maybe comments on my YouTube from time to time, whoever you are, and supports me. I'm not here to make those bold accusations. That's not my job. My job is to only explain to you the advantages and the opportunities and the disadvantages and the pitfalls or downfalls of this whole journey, and labels in particular. And I can only hope that after watching this video, which is now 25 minutes in, I don't have a watch on, but 25 minutes in almost, I can only hope that after this time, if you actually made it this far or even watched more than 6 minutes, I can only hope that you take away some earnestness from this and don't feel too triggered and don't feel too down on yourself, because I'm only trying to help you using the experience that I've gained, however limited or wise or not wise it may be.